Hello everyone, how you going? Welcome to 21 things in the US that puzzle most foreigners. Now obviously every single country is going to have things where you just go, what? You do what with what? And hey, that's completely fine and completely normal, but I just want to know what the US does. But anyway, let's just see what he's got.
Well, you may have lived in the United States your whole life without realizing that something totally normal for you seems bizarre to people from other parts of the world.
Yeah, of course.
Who knew that munching on fried pickles in a highly air-conditioned room was so outlandish?
What?
Well, here are some other
context.
highly entertaining
That's so
Americanisms I've gathered.
Okay.
Let's count it down from number 21. Sales tax is a guessing game.
Yes,
When
of
you go
course.
shopping in the U.S. and see a price tag that says $14.88, don't expect to pay $14.88 at the register.
It's so
Sales
dumb.
tax is not included in the price of an item. And since this tax can vary from state to state, figuring out your total
what a
can
headache.
turn into the ultimate mental math challenge.
Oh man, I mean, I can kind of understand in terms of how the entire country is run in terms of, okay, so we've got this state and this state and this state, they're all doing these different things like they showed them here. You know, as we can see, you got Texas at 8%, but then Wyoming at 5.5%. And so overall you go, okay, the states are just run differently because they're quite independent. But realistically, it just sounds like such a headache. You know, how often are people traveling between the states where they just have to compare to that degree? You know, surely if you just go, okay, it's $5.20 here and it's $5.36 here, I just know that I'm in a different state. And so, okay, so that's what I have to pay. Not the fact that you're going, okay, so this is an extra 5.46% compared to 8.33 and then 8.7. Like, it just sounds like such a headache. And so, yeah, I can certainly understand why they do it in terms of how it's set up, but it just doesn't make sense as to why it's still being in operation.
State. Figuring out your total can turn into the ultimate mental math challenge. In many European countries, the sales tax is already included in the price.
Yes, of course.
It's known as a value-added tax, or VAT.
Oh, so much
Number
easier.
20. We're total workaholics.
Especially for travel.
A lot of Americans don't feel the need to take long vacations, so they often let vacation and sick hours pile up without ever using them.
I mean, it's also because they're not given many, so they just feel like they have to work forever because they're not given any kind of paid time off.
Plus, most employers only give you
There
2
we go.
weeks out of the
Only
year.
2 weeks compared to other countries.
But in a lot of
6 or
other
something.
countries, like Brazil or Finland, workers are encouraged to take an average of 30 days of vacay.
30 days, a
Wow.
month a year.
Maybe I should take some time off. Or perhaps I'll just keep waiting. It's not a party without red Solo cups.
Red Solo
In the
cups.
States,
Oh,
this
my.
red plastic cup is synonymous with party on, dude.
Yeah, let me just take that back for a second. Where
This
is it?
red
This red plastic cup. I'm fairly sure each line is actually kind of a designated marker about where you could fill it up for a standard amount of whatever drink you're actually trying to get to. Like it's a shot, a beer, or wine. I don't even really know. But no, either way, I can certainly understand that because it's just prolific throughout all of US media, those red bloody cups.
Plastic cup is synonymous with party on, dude. But other countries
Such a
apparently
frat
don't
thing.
recognize this cup to mean the same thing.
Not really, it's just
People
a cup.
in the UK, for example, don't use red Solo cups at get-togethers.
Of course
They
not.
have to go to a special website to purchase the cups for American-themed parties.
That's so
Who
weird.
knew?
I mean, it certainly makes sense that you can get them online, and I'm fairly sure you can actually get them in store in Australia, but no, otherwise I just don't understand why you would be going and just ordering them online. It just doesn't need to happen, because realistically, you just don't need those cups. I'm fairly sure in Australia we'd have kind of a slightly smaller, clear one. That would probably be our equivalent, but otherwise, people are just going to be drinking beers and all those kind of things, unless it's been completely mixed, but they're just going to be drinking them out of a bottle. Or I guess otherwise maybe you can, but other than that, you're not going to be pouring many things out of their already contained container.
No. Number 18. Deep fried everything.
Oh, absolutely everything.
Whether it's fried pickles or even fried Oreos, America has it all. Fried fish recipes first appeared in Spanish and Portuguese cookbooks as far back as the 1200s, and the Greeks were frying food in olive oil way back in the 5th century BCE.
Wow. Well done to the
But
Greeks.
as America does with many things, they've adopted a tradition from far-off lands and took it up a notch, or 5.
Yeah, what can I say? Everybody knows that the US is just synonymous with the deep frying things. Like you said, fried pickles, fried Oreos, fried ice cream, for goodness sake. There were just so many things we go, I didn't even know you could fry that thing, but hey, somehow you managed to do it. And hey, if it tastes good, I guess just have it, but just don't have it too many times. And I think that's more so the problem.
17. Get everything you need right at the pharmacy.
That's so
If you're
random.
not from the U.S., it may be puzzling to walk into a pharmacy and see aisles and aisles of over-the-counter meds, toys, makeup, clothes, and even groceries.
What?
Unlike in other countries where pharmacies sell medicine and medical supplies exclusively, the ones in the U.S. are like small convenience stores where you can grab magazines,
sound
Tylenol,
small.
and a frozen pizza in one fell swoop.
Whoa. Oh, that's just so strange. Why would you want to be getting having a pharmacy, or I guess if you're in Australia, a chemist pizza. That just sounds like you're going to be, well, you're going to need a whole lot of medicine to be able to kind of recover from a pizza that you've bought at a chemist. And so, yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess it's just about convenience, but it just sounds wrong.
16. Fill her up.
Fill her up.
In America, if a restaurant doesn't offer free refills on fountain drinks, it's kind of
Fountain
strange.
drinks, right.
But in other countries, once you buy one beverage, that's it.
Yep.
France banned refills on sugary sodas back in
wow.
2017 in order to combat the current obesity epidemic.
Yeah, wow, good on
But
them.
in the US, the idea of free refills is still alive and well.
That's going to be like the imperial system. It's just never going to go away. They just love it too much. They just take advantage. They bring their massive, I don't even know what they are, like 2-liter just Macca's cups, and then just go, give me some more, please. And you go, okay, I guess you just got to get it. I mean, I can only imagine that liquid is probably just come from powder, repowdered it, all the lemonades and everything, like every single other fast food chain. But overall, it just doesn't really make sense to me because it just sounds like you're missing out on profit. And so I guess you just got to fight the consumers versus the actual consumerism.
15. If you don't like it, return it. Whether it's an ugly sweater from grandma or a heinous pair of earrings from an ex, if you don't like it, you can just return it.
Yeah?
In America, making returns at stores is pretty normal and super easy.
Yeah,
I mean, the U.S. even has a National Returns Day in January, conveniently held for you to return holiday gifts you weren't too thrilled about.
I mean, you're certainly going to be wanting some kind of receipt, surely, but maybe not. I mean, maybe that's kind of the degree that you're going to. You just kind of go, walk in, go, okay, I don't want this anymore. And they go, okay, sure, here you go, here's some money back. But I don't know, maybe it's just way easier. Maybe it's not really a thing in Europe, because I feel it's in Australia, you can return things and not kind of scout that or anything. And so, yeah, I don't know what kind of level the US is sitting on in this regard.
14. Tips for everyone.
Tips for everyone.
Cab drivers, servers, hairdressers, you gotta tip them. Tips are acceptable for almost any service in the U.S. and sometimes consist of 25% of the bill. We haven't started tipping surgeons yet.
I'm surprised.
But there are places in other parts of the world, such as Japan, that consider tipping incredibly rude, like in restaurants. When you travel to different countries, it's important to learn their tipping etiquette so that you don't offend anyone.
Yeah.
13.
Let me just take that back, because what was that?
The bill.
Cab drivers, servers, and hairdressers. I mean, I never would have really thought about tipping a hairdresser, let alone a cab driver, let alone, I guess, just all those professions. As does that suddenly mean that you should be tipping tradies for their work when you're paying them like 20 grand for all of a sudden building your house? Like, where does it end? I just don't understand. How can you just be paying everyone just more? Just surely if you actually just have to pay everyone more, just pay everyone more instead of just having to do it like the sales tax and just add it on after.
13.
But anyway, whatever.
I'll take my coffee to go. With a Starbucks on every corner, it's very normal to see people toting around a coffee as they shop, commute to work, and whatever else at all times of the day.
I mean, this is Australia
in many parts of the world, coffee is meant to be sipped on while seated and enjoying the paper or chatting with friends.
Oh, well, like I've said before, Australia is absolutely addicted to coffee, and to be honest, I'm fairly sure that Australia would just go, okay, well, it's both, you know, you can go to a cafe and sit down and enjoy it, or you can just get it on the go. That is just both very, very acceptable, and I'm actually fairly sure that Australia is the coffee capital of the world, or the biggest coffee capital in the world per person. And so even though places like Starbucks absolutely failed in comparison to America, there is absolutely just this weird crossover where I guess we're just taking the European influence and then also just the American influence.
Throughout the day might be due to the fact that the cups are huge and take longer to drink. Who's got that kind of time to be sitting in a cafe for hours? Sounds like fun to me.
Coffee.
Number 12, the land of ice-cold drinks. Now, speaking of drinks, if it's not a hot coffee or cocoa, then it's probably got ice in it. Tea, coffee, lemonade, soda, water. Americans like it on the rocks.
Surely America can't be having all teas just as iced teas. I mean, that just certainly is a thing, but not for every single one. And then what else did he say?
Coffee, lemonade, soda, water.
So we got coffee, lemonade, soda, and water. I mean, there's obviously lemonade and then soda and water. I mean, water can certainly make sense if you're in a hot place. Tea, I mean, like I said, there's iced teas, iced coffees and things, but overall, just surely you can't be having all the hot drinks. Like, let's say you have a coffee, surely you can get that hot. Surely you have a tea, surely you can get that hot. The other ones, I mean, maybe room temperature, but not always on the rocks.
Americans like it on the rocks.
Oh, man.
If you go elsewhere in the world, odds are you'll be sipping your soda at room temperature, or maybe slightly refrigerated if you don't specifically ask for ice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, I feel as though this is just the reason that they offer free refills, because they're just actually not giving you very much, because they fill the glass with ice and then, okay, here you go, you can actually just get 2 sips of whatever drink you've got.
Keeping the AC on at all times.
Oh, really?
Americans must have an aversion to being hot. In many parts of Europe, People simply don't use air conditioning as much as they do in the States.
Yeah.
Here, it's expected to always have the AC blaring, and a lot
Why?
of visitors find it pretty strange and quite chilly.
What
But
do you
come
mean?
on, it makes sense.
Why would you constantly be having it on? So if it's even freezing outside, you're going to be having it on just kind of doing nothing? Or I don't really understand. Are you having a heating as a heater? Or having like a split inverter? I don't really know. But like, why would you constantly be having it on? Surely you can just actually just open a door or something and then just let the breeze in. I mean, I guess like in Australia, there would be some days, especially in some parts of the countries, where it's just going to be too hot to just not have it on if you've got it. But other than that, I just don't understand why you would be having it on constantly. Like really, just like I said, open a door or something. I mean, I guess to be fair to America, it's probably very cheap power. That's probably why they're running it. I mean, it certainly isn't good for the environment, but I guess that's probably why they're running it, because they don't care about the electricity costs. Where in other places, like I guess in Australia and Europe, electricity might be a little bit more expensive, and so maybe they're just a little bit more conscious about that. Overall, I guess there were just a whole bundle of reasons, but no, I just don't understand why you would be constantly having it running. Honestly, you just, even though it might be cheap power, you just are still driving up the electricity bill, if nothing else.
If you're cold, you can layer up.
What?
If you're hot, all you can do is suffer and complain about it.
No.
Number 10. Looking at dollars is a snooze fest.
What? Yes. Oh,
I remember going to
understand, yeah.
Europe for the first time and thinking
completely
their
grayscale.
banknotes looked like Monopoly money.
Yep.
And I guess a lot of countries have bills of different colors and sizes depending on the value,
Australia
like
leading the way in
Swedish
that one.
krona and Russian rubles.
Yep.
But not in the US. It's all greenbacks, baby.
Ugh.
Sure,
Disgusting.
10s look a little yellowy, 50s
Oh,
are
really?
kind of pinkish, and Benjamins seem bluer than the others.
Oh.
But still,
I guess, yeah, you can certainly see that. The ones look kind of, I guess, the whitest, and then you got a kind of a pink, a yellow, a green, another pink, and then another bluey green. But realistically, they are very much the same. And honestly, I'm sure that these are like brand new banknotes. After a while, I'm sure they just all fade to the same random, just, I guess, plain old greeny whatever.
US dollars definitely aren't as fun and rainbowy as other currencies.
No, I think Australia has some of the brightest.
Number 9. Giving a thumbs up.
Even a thumbs up.
In America,
Well,
even
that's
little
very
kids
Australian.
know a thumbs up means good job, way to
Yeah,
go,
thumbs
or
up.
anything positive like that.
Yeah.
But if you travel to Greece or the Middle East and give this common
it's kind
American
of a rude
gesture,
finger, isn't it?
you probably won't make too many friends. Number 8. The date writing conundrum.
Oh, don't get me started.
So
on
many
this.
visitors to the U.S. get really confused by the
No.
month, day, year thing,
Oh,
because
month, day,
most
year.
parts of the world write the day, then the month, then finally the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because you kind of put hours before minutes in the clock, but then you've got an extra entire year there, and so it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I'm actually fairly sure it's because of the way they say it. Like, you know, we would say the 24th of December, where they would say December 24th, and so it kind of just makes sense in that regard, but it just doesn't make sense in terms of just writing it down. Why can't you just agree to go small, medium, large? I mean, honestly, I feel as though it just kind of reinforces the entire kind of metric versus imperial system debate. You know, you just got the metric, just makes sense, and then you got the imperial whackness that's down the bottom.
There's no clear historical reason why the U.S. insists on writing the day differently.
It was probably
but
they just
we
went,
do.
we don't want to do what the UK
Number
does.
7. Pre-baby baby showers.
What?
Many
I mean, I
cultures
guess-
celebrate a new baby coming into
Is
the
this in
world,
Australia as
but
well? I don't know.
America
I
is
think
one of the
so.
few places that does this before the baby actually gets here.
Yeah.
In
I
East
think
Asian
Australia does
countries,
this
for
too.
instance, celebrations for a new baby are held once the baby is born,
I mean,
as doing
yeah, Australia does
otherwise
that
is
as well,
seen as
though.
bad luck.
Oh, fair
Number
enough.
6, where how are you means hello.
Yeah.
Sure, people ask each other how they're doing in other countries, but Americans often use this phrase as a replacement for hey or
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're just walking up to someone you haven't seen in a while. You just say, oh, hey, how are you? It doesn't actually mean directly what it's asking in terms of just, oh, how are you? You know, it just kind of generally means, oh, are you doing okay? You know, good to see you. Just so many other kind of implicit, just little details or nuances in terms of what it means. And so I certainly don't blame people if they go, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, yes, I'm okay. Thank you. How are you? I mean, it's kind of often included in the overall kind of just conversation, but to kind of lead in with how are you, I guess could be confusing. And so definitely don't be put off by it or anything. It's just people just trying to be friendly.
It doesn't even require a real response.
Yeah, no.
People
You
just
literally
answer with fine thanks, even if they're in a horrible mood or had a terrible day.
Yeah, exactly. You just go, oh, hey, yeah, not bad. How are you? And that's the kind of the end of the entire thing. Then you just either can move on if you're not really just there for a conversation, or you just completely move into something else.
Number 5. Bathroom stalls that aren't so private.
Yeah, I've heard everyone complain about
Don't
this.
like
It's
doing
quite
your
strange.
business in front of complete strangers?
Don't
But
go
the
to
fact
America,
that bathroom
apparently.
stall doors often reveal as much as your entire lower leg seems to say otherwise.
Entire lower
There's no
leg,
clear
yeah.
reason as to why there's this big gap in public bathroom stalls here.
I guess
But
so.
many guess it's for safety
It's
reasons.
also
There's
about
this
the side gap, isn't it? Apparently the side gap is massive in comparison to other countries. Like you just, I don't know, you could put an entire hand through the entire gap where you just go, what? How the hell did you just be able to fit an entire eyeball where you can just see down?
big gap in public bathroom stalls here. But many guess it's for safety reasons
I
or
guess, but
ventilation.
how so? Ventilation?
saying.
Jeez.
Number 4.
How much ventilation do you
No
need?
one uses their inside voice.
No, of course not.
A lot
It's
of my
America.
friends who are visiting or moved to the U.S. tell me that locals speak so loud compared to other countries. Americans seem to really like projecting their voice.
Yeah, everyone's
I
just
don't
trying
know.
to beat each other. at
Maybe we
things.
just want to make sure we're heard.
Or maybe
Number
you just want to be
3.
louder than everyone else.
It's
to be
all
the center
about
of attention.
choices. Walk
Yeah.
into any grocery store aisle and you'll
That's
notice at least
consumerism and
10
population
different
for you.
options for cookies, crackers, or cereal. People
not
in
too
the
many
UK don't have these many options for food, and you'll almost never find anything in grape flavor there.
Grape flavor. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, because I'm fairly sure Australia has plenty of grape flavor. Well, not plenty, but a few grape flavor things, especially kind of lollies in terms of, you know, your Hubba Bubba grape and all those things. But no, I also just have to quickly interject in terms of just saying that the USA does not have cereal. Unless you're just getting, I don't know, muesli, straight muesli. It's not cereal. It's just lollies. It's just
Number
completely
2,
just made of sugar. It's
hopping
ridiculous.
into the back seat of a cab. When getting into a cab, it's customary in the States to scoot on into the back seat.
Backseat. Oh.
But in countries like New Zealand and Australia, riding anywhere but shotgun can be a little rude.
Really?
Number 1.
I don't know if that's exactly a thing. I mean, maybe. I guess I do see a lot of people getting into the front. I guess with Uber and things, I can't say I've caught many taxis overall. But realistically, I feel as though a lot of the time that taxis might be in order in terms of taking people home if they're too drunk or something. They generally want you in the back, or they generally want them in the back. So I guess they can't just tamper with the driving and the steering wheel. And so, yeah, I guess it's a bit of a kind of in the moment thing. If you're just not really feeling like talking, maybe get in the back. If you want to talk to the guy or the girl or whatever it may be, then I guess you can get in the front. It's I don't know. And so even though we used Australia and New Zealand as the examples, I would just love to know what the kind of other things or who does what in other countries as well.
Number 1.
But here we go.
That classic
number 1.
American smile.
Classic American smile. What?
In the U.S., people aren't afraid to be nice and show their pearly whites all the time.
Wow.
And
That
according
seems
to a
little bit creepy, to be
2015
honest.
study at Brown University, because America has always been a very diverse country, forced people to smile at each other more since they couldn't always communicate
yes, of
with
course,
language.
That makes sense. I mean, I've also heard that America puts a lot of effort in terms of their teeth. You know, it's certainly not cheap. They just spend a lot of money in getting perfect teeth all the time, and so that's where the kind of British and Europeans having bad teeth kind of stereotype came into it, because Americans just spend so much time and energy just correcting their teeth. But no, it certainly makes sense in terms of just being able to smile at each other. But I almost feel as though that should be the same with Europe, you know, because even though in recent time, obviously a lot of Europe just learns English and so they can generally communicate, I feel as though generally speaking, kind of in the past, they generally would have been able to. And so I can only imagine that they had to smile and kind of form another communication just like the US did. And so I don't really understand how that would be the only kind of just greatest hypothesis that scientists have.
As
But
to
hey,
why
as you said, it's
Americans
certainly just
tend
a
to
theory.
smile more than people in other places do. Or maybe we're just, friendlier.
No, I
Whether
certainly
you're
wouldn't
from the
say that.
US or
Everyone
not,
is friendly all over
can
the
you
world, I
add
reckon.
any more strange Americanisms to the list?
I'm sure
Let me know
everyone could
down
add
in
a
the
lot more.
comments.
But anyway, I guess that's going to do it for the end of this video. No, there was certainly a whole bundle of things where you just go, what? How? What the hell are they doing there? I mean, yeah, obviously, like I said, every country's going to be quite niche and have their own things where you just go, that is definitely strange. And I don't understand so many things like refills. And I don't know, there were so many things where you just go, I guess that is quite different. And I guess even though Australia has quite an American influence, I feel as though we're actually just ever so slightly closer to Europe still. And so, yeah, I guess there are some things we just go, oh, that makes sense. And some things we just go, oh, that's not for us. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to do the YouTube algorithm things down below. Also, if this is the first video one that you're watching, then maybe you want to check out some of the other videos I've done, and also make sure to check out the original video in the description below, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.